Well, welcome to the May 18th Board of Education stated meeting. Let it be known we do have a quorum, and we'll at this point have our pledge to allegiance. Who's going to do that, Ms. Penny?
I give you a list.
You gave me a list.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, pledge leaders. That's what that means.
Okay.
Okay, from Anderson Elementary. Please come forward. Braden Blevins, Jade Goyne, Cameron Goyne, Dean Stanley, Annalise Stanley, and Aurora Stanley.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to look at our consent items and adoption and approval. We have several things, minutes. Penny will scroll through these things. Minutes of the April 20th meeting, financial reports, surplus and obsolete items, district handbook, fiscal agent description, where Dr. Tu is recommending approval of David Atkinson as our fiscal agent for Bristol, Tennessee City Schools. So at this time, I'll accept a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Secretary Taylor?
Yes.
Chair Butcher?
Yes.
Mr. Cuddy?
Yes.
Vice Chair Darnell? Yes. Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Thank you. Wonderful recognitions tonight. We have a full house. I always love that. And, it's nice for the kids to get recognized. And that's why we're really here. So it's really good to do this. Employees also, it's great recognition. So for employees, the annual employee recognition dinner will be held immediately following the board meeting in the dining hall at King University. And we'll have a lot of recognitions at that particular point in time. And our students, we have several things we'd like to recognize tonight. And Dr. Tudor, if I'll call your name, if you'd come up, and Dr. Tudor would love to have a picture made with you for our website. Future Business Leaders of America State Competition, Lily Hughes, third place, public speaking. Is Lily here?
I'll see her.
Okay. Business Battle, Nancy Smith, second place, $1,000 prize winner. Ooh. She's out spending that money, I guess. Skills USA State Officer Elections, Alexis Kennedy, Vice President of Skills USA for Tennessee, for all of Tennessee. Congratulations, Alexis, that's a big deal. Tennessee Association of School Librarians State Bookmark Contest. We have Grayson Jones, first place digital division, and Demara Ocpano, first place hand-drawn division. We have those students here. Okay. National Merit Scholarship winner, Dominic Shipley. Thank you, Dominic. That's about the ultimate academic achievement that you can have in high school, so we're very, very proud of him, and also proud he's a graduate and he came back to celebrate with us, so thank you for doing that. Bristol Optimist Club Oratory Contest, Penn Story, first place. I recognize that name, I believe, has a lot of good literary folk with that. Okay, the ACT Centennial Merc Contest winner, that's National Contest for CTE, Lila Pennington. right, 2026, the MATE Rove competition, East Tennessee. It has to do with robotics, I believe, and technology. Remotely operated vehicles, just all kinds of really cool stuff with robotics. So the THS JV robotics team, also known as the Nordic Navigators. We have the mentor coach, Benji Lewis and Alyssa Eisen. Are you here? Okay, we have, this was the inaugural season for the JV robotics team. So we have Connor Stout, team captain, co-CEO. Natalie Mays, co-CEO. Natalie, just kind of stay up there. If we have more folks, we'll get a picture of all you guys. Austin Bush. Colin Hankins. Andrew Nolasco Miklos. Kayla Cunningham. Kaylin Conley. Madison Hensley. Oliver Magnan. Tyler Hummel. And Esme Lynn. Still playing tennis somewhere, maybe. Okay. Guys, congratulations again. We'll get a big picture of you guys. Look at those nice T-shirts they have. So that's
We got
really
one
cool.
coming, Coach.
Oh, good. Come on in.
Connor,
We
you
got
made
this.
it.
Team captain.
Individual picture for Connor team captain Stout. Congratulations.
We can get it last.
Congratulations again. Robotics is something we're really good at. I don't know how much I heard about it at graduation, but a lot, because we're really, really good. So congratulations. This evening our delegates will be from Anderson Elementary School. Teachers will be highlighting the critical role of student data in guiding instruction and ensuring that the individual needs of each to emphasize the importance of fostering positive school climate and strong relationships as key factors in student success. Coach Sproul, go ahead.
Okay, thank you guys for being here. We do have Anderson, full disclosure here. So in talking with Dr. Tudor several months ago, she said this to me in my evaluation. She said, we're going to save the best for last. So Anderson, we want you guys to go last. I'm excited, excited to see so many of our kids here, all in their "We Are Family" shirts. Yes, one school family, endless possibilities, but really the message that we want to convey is over everything else at our place, and I think I can speak on behalf of all of our places. It's all about family, 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 and when you cultivate that, then great things happen. So we're going to start, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be really thrilled to hear this first part. We're going to talk about, as if we haven't already talked about it enough throughout the school year, but we got some TCAP data today. We got a lot of celebrations, and Miss Roop had this wonderful idea. She said, Miss Roop is our third grade teacher, and she said we're going to flip everything, and the teachers are going to take some ownership of all of this data, and we're going to really just dive completely into it, and then we're going to present it, and we're going to deliver our attack, our focused attack. We're going to strategize to help students be as successful as they can possibly be. So the first part of this, I have three teachers. Mr. Bray is fifth grade math, and he's going to go first, followed by Miss Roop. She's third grade ELA, and then last but not least is Miss Thomas, and Miss Thomas is also, she's third grade math as well. So without further ado, Mr. Bray.
As Mr. Sproul said, this year I came in and I really, really wanted to take ownership of my data, and I just thankful that I did, because I feel that I grew more this year as a teacher than my whole career. So, and some of the things that we did is we used these sheets to where we would put, where are the students at? Are they proficient? Are they approaching? Are they exceeding? So in using that, I was able to drive my classroom instructions, and I could see, did this student need a little bit more help? Was this student exactly where I wanted them? And what do I do for that student? How do I enrich them? How do I keep pushing them? Was this student maybe a bubble student that could fall back or go the other way? So in looking at those benchmark data, I was able to make a plan for myself with the help of my administrators. And also looking at Ames Web data, I use that. And I used something, they started this year, a coaching cycle, to where I could see the data for every day. Like any assessment I was giving, where was I? Did I need to reteach this the next day? Did I need to spend more time on a standard? Were we mastering that standard? Could we move on? Could we enrich that standard and things like that? So, but like I said earlier, I think that these things helped me so much this year and just, made me a better teacher. And I have some big celebrations this year too. So thank you guys for letting me speak.
Okay, so unfortunately, I'm not the mastermind behind the data, like Sproul said. But I will say, like Mr. Bray said, I think doing this new benchmark analysis has really helped me to own my data and dig into it and kind of understand it better. So this is only year 2 for me, but I think coming into it, data can be super overwhelming. And so being able to break it up like we have in this has really helped me to understand it and see what my students need and how I can help them better. So one thing, if you'll keep going, next. Okay, so this is one of the most important things for me, is to put my students in different groups based on their levels. And so level 2 is approaching. So those are the kids that are on the verge of being at met expectations. So I usually choose 3 or 4 students in that level, and I target those students. I want them to be at meeting expectations the next time we have a benchmark. So whenever I make my seating chart for the next quarter, I'll put all those students together, and anytime we do like independent work or we work in groups, those are the kids I'm going to first. I'm making sure that they're understanding, and I'm just pushing them to get to the next level. And it also helps to see what RTI are those students going to, and how can I send stuff over to RTI to help meet those kids' needs there. If you'll keep going. The other part that's really important to me is this remediation plan. So I look at my lowest standards and what the students need. So you can see for the last benchmark we took, there were 3 standards that I thought were the lowest: point of view, supporting reasons, main idea. And then I put in the middle there the students that need support. If it's the majority, I just put all because they all need it again. And then for me, I go to my Wit and Wisdom little standards guide and I look at what lesson that standard is coming up again. So the first one, you can see it came up in a few more lessons in Module 4. So I knew when I got to that lesson, like, I need to slow down and focus on this lesson. If it takes 2 days, that's okay because my students need that. There were some standards like that middle one, it doesn't show up again in the next module that we would do. So that's when I know I need to go pull from Mastery Connect because we're not going to hit that again before TCAPS, and I want to make sure that my students are getting that. So overall, I think doing this has just helped me really be able to strategize and target those standards and my students' needs. Thank you, guys.
All right, good evening. I'm Melissa Thomas. I'm 3rd grade math and science at Anderson. And as a math teacher, data is very important. And so when I got my fall benchmark scores, if you look at the screens, my percentage mastery was only 34.5%, and I was devastated. And I went to Mr. Sproles and I said, what do I do? My assessments that we've had up until this point have been nowhere near this. And if you look at the Bristol percentage mastery, it was 49.8. There was a huge gap between the average of the other schools and myself. And he said, okay, we're going to call in Kelly Campbell and we're going to have a meeting and we're going to sit down and we're going to brainstorm. And we did. And we came up with a plan. And we had this tool, this benchmark analysis tool that we put all our information in, and we created a plan. And there were 3 things that I wanted to hit and I wanted to highlight. The first one was using math 2-a-days every day. They were high-level, rigorous questions that were level 3 and 4, not just understanding of the standard, but bringing it to the highest level that they would see on benchmarks and TCAP tests. That was a non-negotiable. We did one every day. Another thing was we did math probes that had 5 questions that were also high-level questions that they would see from a TCAP or a Mastery Connect or a benchmark test. And that would help me to see, did that student master that skill, not only the standard, but to the highest level that they would see. And then the third one was exit tickets that were on paper, pencil, and then using item analysis, error item analysis. So when I would grade an exit ticket, I would give it to an EA or myself or another person, and we would sit down with that student and say, what did you miss? Why did you miss it? What is the correct answer, and how do we fix it? How do we get the correct answer so you will never miss that again? So those were my 3 things. That was my plan. And so then if you look at the next one, my winter data, it went up. I went to a 45.2. That was a 10.7% growth. And then I was closing that gap between Bristol and myself. Then we just tweaked it a little. I looked back and said, okay, these are the new standards that I need to hit. This is the thing that they still haven't gotten yet, so I tweaked it. And then we got our spring data, and they were now 53% mastery. That was also a 7.8% growth from the second to the third. The gap closed to 5%. I was only 5% from being with the rest of the average of Bristol, Tennessee. I grew 18.5% points from quarter 1 to quarter 3 because we worked as a team. We created a plan and we worked the plan. So I'm very thankful for Mr. Sproles and what he was able to allow me to tap into. I'm thankful for Kelly Campbell and her expertise in data. I'm thankful for Sherry Meck, who also helped me get all those resources of 2-a-days and math probes. And I'm just thankful for my students who bought into the plan. So that's what happens when you work in a family like Anderson. I'm so thankful to be here.
And what I love is, so all 3 of these really dug into this change, and they took ownership, and really hats off to all of our staff in the building that were involved in this process. They jumped into it. They had a great attitude. I love being surrounded by people that are competitive, and when the results aren't exactly what they want, they just dig in and they just keep plowing away, and I think great things happen when that takes place. So now we're going to shift, and so we've talked about data, and I've got some eye rolls a little bit like, are you serious, or are we really just going to plow forward with data? But the real importance of doing what we do, it's hard work, and I think that the most important thing is for our families to come in and for us to come alongside of our families, for our parents, our families to have a voice in our school, that they are going to feel welcome any and every time they come into our school. I always say this, that as soon as you step across the threshold in our building, it ought to feel different. It ought to feel like a family. And that's kingdom-changing work when you're involved in that process. And that's what keeps us in doing what we're doing day in and day out, is because we can join with families and support their kids and support them every step of the way. So I have 3 wonderful families that have come to us, 2 of which have transitioned in from another school system. So they're going to talk about the Anderson experience. We're going to start with Mr. Blevins first, who has a son, Braden Blevins, who is in 5th grade. Come on up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the board and of the public, if I can first say congratulations. I, as a student myself at a young age, I switched through many, many elementary schools. And my son having to switch from one public school to another, you learn the differences between each school system. And one thing coming into Anderson, I didn't quite know what to expect. And speaking with Mr. Sproles, he encouraged me to let me know, of course, that it's going to be a little different, but it's going to be for his benefit. And over the last couple of years, Braden coming in the 4th grade, I have seen him excel, and I have not only seen him excel academically, but in his personal friendship-based life as well. He went from being an introvert to an extrovert. He has no problem making friends. He has excelled and thrived in his grades, and he's become a leader in his classroom. And I cannot be more proud of him, and the difference has been made in his life just by switching to Anderson. When they say that they put family first, they are predominantly doing that. When I come in, I didn't feel like a stranger or just some random parent. If I ever had to call the school, I didn't have to say what class he was in, what grade he was in. They knew his name, and they knew right where he was at. And I can't say that he has had a better foundation than since he's come to Anderson. It has been the best change in his entire life. And so I say congratulations again to you all, because if you are looking for a school that is going to be a model for other elementary schools, they are reaching top ranks in my book. They truly are. So thank you and congratulations, Mr. Sproles.
Okay, our second family, Miss Collins, if you will come on up.
So this is our first year in Bristol. We were a little nervous when we drove by Anderson and seen the playground, because we come from Johnson and Kingsport, and it's a lot different. But these girls have had tremendous growth. I wouldn't mind blank. Coach or Mr. Bray, Ms. Roop, you all have done amazing, amazing. Jade, when we got here, she was struggling a little bit. I think now she is right where she needs to be. They all pour into their kids. They come and watch ball games. He coached them, which that was awkward for them at first, but they enjoy it, and we love this school. I'm really thankful for them.
And last but not least, Miss Stanley.
Good evening, members of the board and superintendent, and thank you, Mr. Sproles, for inviting me to speak tonight. Over the last 17 years, I've worked and volunteered in schools in multiple states and even overseas in Germany. Having seen so many different school systems, including military schools, I can truly tell you that Anderson Elementary is a rare and invaluable asset to this district. I have a unique 360-degree view of Anderson. By day, I'm an educational assistant in the classroom with these amazing students, and by afternoon, I'm a mom picking up her youngest 3 in preschool, 1st grade, and 3rd grade. Being in the classroom every single day gives me the opportunity to see the true heart of this school. I see a loving staff providing a meaningful daily connection for every child, and I see a genuine drive to help each and every student flourish. Most importantly, I see how Anderson bridges the gap for our students who are dealing with heavy burdens in their personal lives. Our staff steps in with empathy to ensure that their challenges do not block their academic success. The true value of our school goes far beyond standard instruction. We build the confidence that changes our students and how they feel about themselves. You could actually hear this confidence in the hallways. For example, during our TCAP test preparation, 3rd grade hosts a TCAP boot camp. The students literally march through the halls, and they're chanting motivational phrases. It turns what could be a stressful testing situation into a joyful, high-energy celebration, and it shows them what they're capable of achieving. It builds their confidence, prepares their minds, and shows them that they can conquer any challenge. This school does not just teach standard lessons. Our educators look at the whole child. They identify their gaps, celebrate their strengths, and ignite a lifelong love of learning. When we pour support into a school like Anderson, we are securing a foundational environment where children are safe to learn, grow, and thrive. My oldest just graduated, and I have another daughter heading into her junior year, so I know exactly what a strong foundation looks like. I see my younger 3 getting that exact foundation every day at Anderson. Anderson Elementary is dedicated, and I can personally say a world-class community that transforms lives daily. With all of this, I say thank you. Thank you for your continued partnership and your support in preserving the vital work happening at Anderson.
So we had a family a few weeks back that she wasn't exactly happy with me at that point, and she said this. She said, "You guys at Anderson, you call all the time. You call when it's bad. You call when it's good. You call, you communicate nonstop. I get calls from you while I'm at work. I get calls from you after work, and so on and so forth." And she said this, and I ended up thanking her for her comment. She said, "You guys are way completely over-involved in my kid's life." And I won't name the name, but I said, "Ma'am, thank you, because that is one of the greatest compliments that I could ever receive on behalf of me and my staff, because that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to get involved in every single part of their life and try to support them in their journey, not only while they're at Anderson, but even when they leave. We say this, that you left a ram, you can always come back here. You are always part of our family." So, yeah, we started off by talking about data, but the most important thing to me, to Ms. White, to our staff, is whatever kid comes inside of our building, that we're going to love them from start to finish all the way through. But not only that, we're going to bring their families in, we're going to welcome them, we're going to give them a voice, and we're going to make them feel like that they are part of our family. So to our 3 teachers, Mr. Bray, Ms. Root, Ms. Thomas, thank you. To Ms. Collins, Ms. Stanley, Mr. Blevins, and all of your kids, thank you, because you guys truly, we do what we do. Your kids come in and joining alongside of families. It is a blessing to do this kind of work. It's life-changing work. And boy, it's tiring. At this point in time in the year, we're all ready. We're ready for Wednesday to get here, but it forever changes. So thank you guys for coming alongside of us. And I also want to say thank you to this one. She never gets enough credit, but I always want to recognize her because she is the one that tries to keep everything. She listens to my ideas, and then how it works out, it's all because of her, Miss White. And she's my friend, and she helps me tremendously. So thank you, guys.
That is exciting, isn't it? It's competitive, isn't it? Now, you get that honestly from your principal, because I don't know if, I know he remembers, but I don't know the exact dates. Coach Sproles, Coach Shanks, and Coach Chandler, 2 years out back in the day when they were still doing end of course in U.S. history, they were the best in the whole state. So they would always, you know, competition's good, and data helps with competition. I enjoy your passion. I enjoy your passion. Thank you for doing that. Do we have any comments from the public? We've had several comments from the public, so any more comments from the public? Okay. Dr. Coleman's going to talk to us about emergency operations, public comment.
So we were so blessed to hear about how we educate students in Bristol and how we improve scores. And now I want to talk to you a little bit about how we keep them safe. The board, Dr. Tudor, the principals, and our chief information officer with technology and our chief facilities officer with maintenance. We do so many things to keep students safe as we prepare for our emergency operation plans that will be revised and approved in June. Really, our goal is to keep students safe, staff safe, property safe, facilities safe. If we have an emergency that we need, it's a collaborative response with our first responders, with the police department, the fire department, Homeland Security, and then if we have an emergency or something happen, what we have steps in place to return to normal conditions. So some of the things that we focus on is staff preparedness and training. The emergency operation plan prepares for 18 different emergencies. We have about 20 policies directly related to safety. We have about 20 procedures directly related to safety. We have in-person training. We have online training. Of course, you might remember all of the fire drills you had as a kid and the tornado drills, and we have intruder drills. So a lot of different types of training that goes into that. And we have student support. We have badges at the high school. If you have a high school, you may see that. And every day when they come into school, the first thing they do is they scan that badge, and that lets us know who's in the building. No student that age gets in the building without a badge, so we know who's in there. On the back of that badge, it also has the suicide hotline as well as the safe school hotline. So if there is a bullying incident or a safety incident, students can flip that over and have that immediate contact to report that. This year we did firearm safety, which was a new law by the state, which really taught our kids in kindergarten through 12th grade what to do if they find a gun, and who do they tell, and how does that work. In addition, we have physical security and prevention. We have SROs at every campus and have fantastic SROs. We have a visitor code of conduct. You may have passed that as you walked in at every main entrance. We have bulletproof and safety glass throughout our campus. Every school and the district has a care threat assessment team, which is should there be a threat, the school and the district prepare and talk about it, discuss it, and figure out how to support that. We also have anti-drug campaigns, bullying campaigns, and kindness and unity days. And of course, our emergency operation plans and communication systems. We have a system called Centegix, which is a badge that all of the staff hold and with their ID badge, and they press that button so many times that it puts the school in lockdown so that students can immediately and staff can immediately be safe. We have cyber security measures between BARC and iBoss that screen emails, that screens documents, and we get alerts with that. We get emails, and if it's very serious, we get phone calls. And if it's very serious, they even call the police. So we have different levels of security for that. Reunification plans, if we need to reunite parents and students off campus. And 24/7 access to Safe School Helpline, just like is on the back of the badge. So lots of measures that we have in place to keep your kids safe. And I can tell you, other than education, these principals focus on that, and they do a fantastic job of making sure kids are safe every day. It takes a village, and we appreciate any comments or ideas or suggestions. Of course, our plans are safe, can't make them public, but we can also take your considerations in mind as we're developing those plans. Thank you, Chair
Thank
Butcher.
you. Under new business, we have some real pleasurable business tonight. This is teacher recommendation. We place it before the board for approval. And if the chance anyone's here, please do stand up and let us recognize you also. So Dr. Tudor's recommending board approval for the following teachers for tenure. Michael McMeans, Tennessee High School, Physical Education. Joshua Pendleton, Tennessee High School, Social Studies. Ashley Ray, Haynesville, Grade 2. Jeffrey Simcox, Tennessee High School, Welding. Jesse Taylor, Tennessee High School, History. Judith Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we accept these teachers for tenure.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I believe we can probably do this by acclamation, but Ms. Jenkins, you go ahead and call the roll.
Vice Chair Darnell,
Yes.
Mr. Cuddy,
Yes.
Chair Butcher,
Yes.
Ms. Henson,
Yes.
Secretary Taylor.
Yes.
Congratulations to each one of these teachers. Dr. Tudor is recommending board approval of Behavioral Partnership Support Grant.
Second?
Any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Secretary Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Cuddy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Darnell,
Yes.
Chair Butcher,
Yes.
Ms. Henson.
Yes.
Motion approved. 2027 CTE per Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
How about a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Chair Butcher,
Yes.
Mr. Cuddy,
Yes.
Ms. Henson,
Yes.
Secretary Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Darnell.
Yes.
Motion approved. We have next 29 policies on first reading. I'm not even, Ms. Jenkins is going to scroll through those and so forth. They're on our website in case you would like to look at it. It's on the school board meeting website too, so I'm not going to go through each and every one of them. But I will entertain a motion to approve these.
I move that we accept these policies on first reading.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Mr. Cuddy?
Yes.
Chair Butcher?
Yes.
Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Darnell?
Yes.
Secretary Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passed. By the way, we want to welcome back Ms. Jenkins. She's been absent a little bit, been on the mend. Uh, 2025-26 amended budget. The general purpose school fund was amended to more closely align Do I have a motion to approve these actions?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussions? Ms. Jenkins?
Vice Chair Darnell?
Yes.
Secretary Taylor?
Yes.
Chair Butcher?
Yes.
Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Mr. Cuddy?
Yes.
Dr. Tudor is also recommending the board approve the
I so move.
second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I'd like to thank David again for his hard work and these fiscal things. It makes it, I can even understand a little bit, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, David's team did, this is my 7th year on the board, and it's the best presentation that I've seen. So thank you for your hard work, and make sure your team knows that as well.
Ms. Jenkins?
Chair Butcher?
Yes.
Vice Chair Darnell?
Yes.
Mr. Cuddy?
Yes.
Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Secretary Taylor?
Yes.
Textbooks. Recommendation.
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Chair Butcher?
Yes.
Mr. Cuddy?
Yes.
Secretary Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Darnell?
Yes.
Also under textbooks adoption recommendation, Dr. Tudor's recommending board approval of the K-5
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Mr. Cuddy?
Yes.
Vice Chair Darnell?
Yes.
Chair Butcher?
Yes.
Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Secretary Taylor?
Yes.
And lastly, Dr. Tudor's recommending board approval of the resolution for buy board. That's agreement use for this at quite length at our work session. It's a real good thing for us. It's an excellent way for us to make good purchases and save some money along the way, good quality. So we're happy with this. Ms. Jenkins?
Vice Chair Darnell,
Yes.
Secretary Taylor,
Yes.
Chair Cuddy,
Yes.
excuse me, Mr. Cuddy, Chair Butcher,
He may have it.
3 years was enough.
Ms. Henson.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Okay, Dr. Tudor, would you like to do your report at the
Thank
end of the school year?
For dinner, and I'll be in trouble if we don't go quickly. I wish your parents were still here, Mr. Sproles, so I could ask them how much you paid them for their presentations. And although I will not admit that you are the best, because I can't do that, there's other principals in the room, and we have excellent principals in schools in our district all across the board. I will say that you have raised the bar a little bit with your presentation. So thank you very much, Mr. Bray, Ms. Thomas, Ms. Roop, thank you very much for all that you're doing. What I also would point out, which I'm sure everyone is aware if you're familiar with what data means in our school district, but in our schools, really the data is all about students. And they focused on that a little bit, but every bit of that data that we talk about is an individual child who's making progress and working hard to achieve their goals, and that's because of the hard work and dedication of our teachers. So thank you very much for that. I'd also say that we did get some preliminary data today that we probably can't talk about yet because it's embargoed, but we're feeling really good about it. So great job. Thank you very much for being here and sticking it out. I'm going to skip some of the stuff, be looking for an email to staff that will talk about our budget. I would like to thank the board for their diligence. I know David worked very hard on that, and thank you very much for that work. We did have a great budget season, I think, but what's included in the budget is because of the school board. And so when you staff members get an email tomorrow that gives you a little bit more information about what's included in the budget, be sure to thank these folks because we definitely prioritize our staff in this budget, and I'm proud to say that we do that. Excited about celebrating folks this evening. I would like to comment though that in all of our celebrations, we've had a great school year, things are wonderful. But we had a little bit of tragedy in our school district recently, and it's reminded me that things change very quickly. So I'd just like to take a moment to talk about Martha Stegall. We suddenly lost her. She was a Tennessee high school guidance secretary, had been there for many years. Kim did a fantastic post about her this afternoon. If you have a chance to see that, it really speaks to the spirit of who Martha was. But I'd also like to point out that she was recently recognized by a Tennessee high school senior for an Everlasting Impact Award. And I think that should just tell you all you need to know about Martha and her impact at Tennessee High School. A senior student gave her an award for her everlasting impact. And so wonderful. It's going to be a tragic loss. If you don't mind, I'd just like to take a moment of silence in her memory. Thank you, Mr. Butcher. That's all I have.
Thank you. Report from our city council liaison, Ms. Akerts, and also the proud parent of a THS graduate and a UT graduate in engineering. Congratulations.
Parents can be a little obnoxious, can't
There
they?
you go.
Okay, I'll make it quick. Y'all look so nice, so clearly. Y'all have plans after to go celebrate. And some people have left, so I don't know who's left and who's here, but congratulations to all the students who won something, our merit finalists, teachers getting tenure, all the things. I just got a few quick updates on kids camps. Y'all just check out the City of Bristol site. We've got a weather camp starting at Stills Creek June 1st, a kids and cops camp for different ages starting in July, and a tennis league for kids ages 5 to 16. And I just want to thank Dr. Tudor and David for presenting to us at our work session, and y'all did a great job. And I talked to Dr. Scott on Friday and told her y'all really did a good job. So not even one question. I mean, you understand how rare that is, David. And let's see, talk about Mr. Sproul's presentation. That was wonderful. Most of you don't know this, but my youngest started at Anderson in the 3-year-old special needs until Miss White got a hold of him at Holston View in kindergarten. So very, very grateful. And I know lots of things go on besides statistics and test scores and all those things. And would also just like to congratulate the Tennessee High Viking girls tennis. And I got to watch them, and they're fierce, and it was fun. So very proud of them. And let's see, that may be all I have. Happy summer. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Thank you. Comments from the board?
Thank you to Anderson. We always enjoy hearing from the schools. Teachers, we know how hard you work, so we appreciate you, and it's always wonderful to hear from parents and their testimonies. So we appreciate you being here tonight.
I was going to give just a quick shout out to Alexa Witcher. She's a Tennessee High graduate. She just got named last week as the chief legal counselor for the governor. So it's a big deal for her, and always great when you see that from Bristol. So.
Just want to add, last year, well, not last year, the beginning of the school year this year, when y'all got to hear from me, the teachers, I talked about outside noises. And John, your all's presentation tonight still just proves and shows that, even though those outside noises still never go away, they still continue, distractions, obstacles, no matter what they may be, whether it's home life, public life, politics, whatever it may be. All these outside noises affect us and what we do every day. And I'm just thankful not only for Anderson, but for all of our schools, because what it does, when we see presentations like that, especially when we get to hear from parents directly, it shows that everything that we do decision-wise, whether it's from a state level, a municipality level, a county level, school board level, everything that we do ultimately affects our teachers and our students. And so just know that this board knows that you all work so very hard. I've had kids in our system forever, and I'm just so thankful that they have been able to go to school here. I'm glad I'm a product of our school system. I think hearing from the parents, says it all. And so thank you for what you're doing. And I know it's hard. I'm not in the classroom like you guys are, but I get to see it. Being a dad of students. And so thank you for what you're doing. I'm glad y'all have had a good year. Get some rest, and we're going to do it again in August, right? That's right.
I hope you went to graduation. I hope you have a chance to go to graduation sometime at Tennessee High School. I forgot the other part of the program that has all the wonderful pictures and so forth of our graduates' distinction and the student body and everything. Everybody graduates, but I don't know if everybody graduates the way we graduate. And you talk about a family thing. Ms. Kirk and your team setting that all up. Kurt, your guys, what a labor of love. It's a beautiful thing. Even to leave there at dark and look at the cupola all shiny and bright. It is absolutely awesome. Dr. Tudor and her group, particularly, Dr. Scott and Dr. Coleman kept my parking spot hot there. So really, these people are passionate, and they're really great. And everything's going really, really well. But guess what? It's rinse and repeat. It's do it again. We got to set the bar higher, and we got to continue to do this. That's what we're about. We're going to do better and better and better. And we're not status quo in Bristol. So rest assured, parents and so forth, we're going to continue to excel and try to do even better every year. So our next board meeting when is our next board meeting? June 5th.